Okay, so this is kind of showing how those beads are looking on top of the resin with a little bit of pine needles in there. There's just 6 now. Now you could keep adding and making it a little thicker so that when you get to your second row, it's already thick. But I wanted to just show you before I went any further. If you don't want pine needles on top of here and you just want the beads on top, just go ahead and just tie off at the beginning. Just go ahead and tie off and then start adding the beads. That one's a little tight, so I had to force it through. So you can also just put the beads right on top of the resin like that. Just sew it basically to the resin. So I can take this apart and show you after, but how it'll look with the pine needles. So see, you can add any size beads just like that and keep going. Here's a light pink. You just got to make sure, I've got too much stuff here. You just have to make sure that you have your beads with large enough holes so it goes through easily. Somebody needs to clean their table off here because we've got too much stuff floating around. Here we go. Here we go. So see, then that's how it's looking if you don't use the needles. You could just put a bead on top. I'll do one more. Just basically sew it in the holes on top by hand with the same thread. I like the needles in because then you have a nice base to attach when you start doing the second row. But you can do it any way you want. It's your basket. You could do whatever you want. So that's what it's going to look like. So then when you get the second row over here, if you didn't want to put needles underneath and it's just the beads, you do the same thing. Once you get here, you're going to really start loading up with the beads, and I would drop even down below. Now, if this is a really thick bottom, you can use it as a seat for the basket and just go ahead and do whatever size you wanted. So see, you kind of have the same effect. It looks the same whether you put needles in underneath that or without. Now see, along the side here, you can see the needles. For me, I think it's going to be easier to have needles in there and then start building bigger as you get around to your start. But you can do it whatever way you want. But that's the look you're going to get from the side if you don't do it with needles. And that's the look you're going to get if you do put needles in. Just a few needles underneath, cushioning it. And from the top, it's going to kind of look the same. You're just going to see the beads. So it's kind of up to you. I'm going to go back and put needles in all the way through, get to the next starting point, and go from there.